It is time, so we would like to begin the first quarter FY2019 briefing session for Cyber Agent. Before we get started, we would like to introduce the representatives. CEO Susumu Fujita, Managing Director Go Nakayama, and Senior Manager of IR and SR Division, Sonoko Miyakawa. CEO Susumu Fujita will take us through the results. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today. As you know, a short while ago, for the first time in 17 years, we just made a downward revision. So today we would like to cover the downward revision as well as the future outlook. First of all, our fiscal year ends in September, so this is our first quarter, October through December. And during this quarter, we marked the record high consolidated sales. And ABEMA TV hit a new Guinness World Book of Records for WAU. And in terms of the ad business, we also had the highest sales to date as well. And with games, we promoted Dragalia Lost, which is a new game, and that is why we saw an inflated advertising spend for the game business. And this is a consolidated sales and how it has shifted. So we have continued to increase in volume and the sales have grown. But if you look at the other numbers that follow, we have actually spent more costs than our growth rate. That is why our business did not progress as planned. That is why we have made a downward revision. This is the consolidated OP, 5.3 billion yen. And if you break that down, we're actually behind schedule significantly. We actually sold shares of our upfront investments, but that is why the numbers are not as bad as it seems. But we believe that it was a right decision to make the downward revision, taking into account that the numbers would have been worse had we not sold those shares. And these are the SG&A, and this has continued to grow. The costs have continued to grow. And as of November, we had spent more costs than we had planned, and the sales hadn't progressed as much as we had hoped. So we stopped hiring, and we also tried to revise our ad spend. But October through to December, it wasn't enough time to offset. And also, we have been trying to curtail our costs. Having said that, we have still seen the growth in our SG&A. Number of employees, we have actually increased our hiring efforts, and we actually hired 600 people over the past year. And we had hired a lot of experienced hires as well. But we stopped our hiring in November. And we actually try to transfer people within the divisions inside our company. This is the PL and balance sheet. This is as per usual. So this is as we have made a downward revision, and I've posted a blog entry earlier and why we arrived at this current position. But first of all, as I mentioned before, from November of last year, we stepped on the brakes in November. But we realized the change in revenue structure and costs last summer. So as you can see, number one, so July through to September, we noticed a change in revenue structure. But if you can look at first and second quarter of last fiscal year, there's been an overlap since to the forecast, and then even if we spent more costs, we were making more revenue, so we were able to offset that. And in the third quarter, it was a little bit lower, but there were seasonal factors. And the fourth quarter wasn't as great as we had hoped. And having said that, in September, we were planning to release Dragalia Lost, which we had high expectations within the firm. So the initial month, if it gets off to a great start, it will absorb all of the costs. So we decided we didn't have to step on the brakes at that time. So we released Dragalia Lost at the end of September, and we sold, or the revenues from that game was 3 billion yen, which was very high. So it wasn't as high as we had expected, but it was pretty high. So that's why our forecast for this year was a OP of 30 billion. And we saw growth in the number of users. Having said that, we didn't see as much billing from the game as much we had hoped. So in November, we decided to rein in our cost. Having said that, we didn't react in time. So it's only been a month, but we apologize for making a downward revision. But we reduced the consolidated OP by 10 billion to 20 billion. And by doing so, our management team, how we feel is that other businesses outside of ABEMA TV, we were making 50 billion yen with existing businesses, and we were making upfront investments of 20 billion yen in ABEMA TV. But we revised the forecast. Existing business will now contribute to 40 billion yen, and we will still make an upfront investment of 20 billion. So we will be making a fresh start from there. So that's the line from which we're making a fresh start. So the existing business will be 40 billion yen, but we hope to do more. And ABEMA TV upfront investment, we hope to reduce upfront investment. And by doing both, we hope to increase sales and profit. So as it says, we reflected the changes in revenue structure, the increase in costs. Of course, ad spend we can curtail quicker, but in terms of payroll, once we employ someone, we can't really cut that cost. So we need to wait for the sales and profit to rise. So we revised the forecast accordingly, and also we could have just left the consolidated OP at 30 billion yen, even though we were behind schedule. We could have tried to achieve that target. That was an option that we had, but we didn't want to be reactive. We would always be one step behind. So that is why we wanted to get it all out, the negative factors, and revise the cost structure and the forecast. So by doing so, we hope to do more than an OP of 20 billion. So we hope that all of the news that will come from now on will be all positive, and we will be doing our best to achieve more than the forecast. So looking more closely at the individual businesses, starting with the internet ad business. In terms of sales, we marked record high sales this quarter. But our feeling is that the type of clients that we are seeing, it's not games or financial, or we don't see a very strong industry that is pushing up the sales. So the top line growth is a little bit weaker. And in terms of the OP, quarterly OP, we have talked about ABEMA TV and upfront investments, but game and internet business, app business, we are still investing, making upfront investments in these areas as well. And we want to acquire national clients, so that's why we're trying to invest in creative and also technologies, hiring new employees as well, and establishing new companies. So we have seen an increase in the number of employees in this business as well. So going forward, cyber agents, internet ad business, creative and technology is our strong point. So we want to be strong in technologies and numbers to acquire new advertisers. So we hope to continue to develop new advertisers with advanced technology. Next, the game business. So we were a little bit dependent on Dragalielos, but outside of that, the existing titles didn't do as well. So the second quarter, from January onwards, we've seen good results. So we hope that second quarter onwards, we will see a better performance. But in terms of the first quarter that we just ended, the existing titles, their sales declined. That's one of the reasons why we're behind forecast. And as I mentioned before, from January we saw great performance. And if you turn to the next page, we will be celebrating anniversaries of popular titles in February and 2 in March. So in the second quarter, we believe that the sales will come back up. I don't know what will happen February onwards, but that's what we believe. And we skipped one page, but the game business, the OP has come down significantly. This is because we spent a lot on advertising. That's our main reason. And in terms of the future plans, we are working with Bandai Namco Entertainment on a game called Magnificent Kotobuki Takeoff Girls. And we are showing this animation on ABEMA TV as well. So we will be working on the anime as well as the game together. So this is a new release coming up. And Uma Musume was on the previous documents at the end of the fiscal year, but we were supposed to release that in the winter of 2018, but we've actually delayed its publishing because we wanted to improve its quality. But these are the titles that we are currently working on. And these titles will be released as new titles. Next, the media business. ABEMA TV sales are growing very well, so the numbers have continued to grow. So you can see that this is a very nicely shaped graph. And downward revision, of course, we are going to be reining in our costs, and that's something that we're all working on internally. But in terms of the ABEMA TV upfront investment, this is going to be on track as. But in TV business, it's actually the cost can inflate very easily, so we want to take care if uh, if any programs that we have is not doing very well, and if the costs are becoming inflated, we want to do a spring cleanup basically and review the costs, revise the costs, and continue to make investments where necessary. And I talked about doing commercials for the game business, but we did also do advertising for the first quarter, so we saw more costs in this quarter as well. In terms of the number of downloads, it has continued to grow steadily, so now we're at 37 million downloads. And the WAU as well, it has grown steadily. So we saw 7.29 million in 2018. This is because we had a special TV program, 72 hours. But last year we worked on regular TV programs. And finally, we're seeing our efforts are bearing fruit. And these are some topics from the end of the year and beginning of the year. So we had a special TV program where people could win 10 million for if they managed to push out a famous sumo wrestler. But unfortunately, this year, some of the cast said no, so we couldn't really realize some of those shows. But having said that, we were able to actually increase the number of users that we have. And this year, every year, we win the fan favorite. So we actually, for the second year in a row, we won the Google Play's Best Awards as well. And ABEMA TV was ranked third in the top trending ranking 2018 among teenage girls. And You Can't Fool Me, Mr. Wolf Summer 2018 was also top 5 trending things among teenage girls. So we're seeing that our fan base among younger girls is growing. Most of the TVs that are leaving the factories are actually equipped with ABEMA TV buttons. So we're continuing to work on that and working with SoftBank. ABEMA TV is now compatible with their Ultra Giga Monster, a new billing plan for SoftBank, and we also established an animation label. So we are continuing to expand our collaboration with other companies, of course, with Dentsu and also Hakodo as well, which is helping our sales efforts. So until now, ABEMA TV, we were working very hard on our own, but we will continue to expand our range of extent of collaboration with other companies. And another change that we witnessed, so in 2019 April will be 3 years since we launched ABEMA TV, but back then linear viewing was where we started because we wanted it to be an internet TV. But because we're available on the internet, there's going to be video on demand as well. What we learned is that sports and shogi mahjong, as well as news and live broadcasts, if we create other packages in that, everybody wants to watch on video on demand. And what we release on ABEMA TV, 95% is viewed as video on demand. So even if we actually show something at 9 o'clock on Monday, it's just like a showcase, and people are still viewing it on demand. So we want to continue to offer the best convenience for our users. So we want to combine linear and on-demand viewing going forward as well. This is the ABEMA Premium subscribers, where they can use video on demand as well. And this is the first time we're releasing these numbers. We were focusing on growing the WAU until now. And subscribers is actually subscription services are closed and it doesn't really grow all that much. But we weren't focused on this area in the beginning. But last year we started to work in this area. Now we're actually seeing 358,000 subscribers, and this is continuing to grow. Of course, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu is what you would imagine, but what's great about ABEMA TV is that if they actually join as a subscriber, they can use a lot more features. So you can replay on demand, for example, and you can download programs so you can watch where you don't have internet connection, and then you can view comments as well. So it's not just about content. These are some of the reasons why people subscribe for the premium service. And last year, we worked on regular TV programs, and 72-hour TV and Kameda Cookies. If you win against Kameda Cookie, you win 10 million yen. But we had the special feature programs, but we want to also increase or put effort into dramas. So we have started to focus our efforts on creating a very popular drama. So a new romantic drama will be starting in February. One Page Love. So many people saw for some romantic drama, so that's why we have created this. And also some of the new programs coming up. So we have a TV program using 1 billion yen provided by the Japan Foundation, which will be provided to people who actually come up with ideas that contribute to society. So we want to tell people that they have an opportunity to win these funds. Video and ad and is doing well as well for ABEMA TV, but we want to issue DVDs and also sell to other services. We want to establish a publishing business in April or May or June. We want to start a public gambling channel and also add a function which allows users to buy betting tickets, and also virtual gifting as well, which is something that we are developing at the moment. And in February, we will make ABEMA TV available from overseas. We'll start with 6 countries as a pilot, and then if there are no issues, we'll make it available worldwide. As I mentioned, we are actively working with other partner companies and also on non-broadcast revenues, M&A, increasing IPs to not just from advertising and billing, but to diversify our revenue streams and to create a new media. Since we made a downward revision, we don't want to use this word too much. And of course, we will revise our efforts in ABEMA TV, but we believe that we should be investing in ABEMA TV. So we will continue to pump up the viewers and sales and make sure that we're making investments accordingly. That's it from myself. Thank you very much.